Right guys, today we are going to be testing for exhaust leaks using a smoke machine. Let's go and take a look. Now then, a quick little bit of background as to why. I've recently fitted a stage 1 kit and new gaskets to our Mini. And that involved me removing the exhaust and splitting apart all of the joints. So now that we've reassembled it all, we're going to pressurize it with smoke, and that will allow us to test all of the joints up through the exhaust manifold, the mid pipe, the back box, and also the seal onto the cylinder head. And that means that we should, in theory, have no leaks, and if we do, we can rectify them before we run the car up to temperature, and it should sound a lot better than if it was blowing a hell of a lot. Now, let's have a little look what's inside the box. What's in the box? Right, this is about 80 quid off of eBay, brand new, and it was drop shipped, which is why it was cheap. These seem to be a little bit expensive, weirdly, but like I say, I've used it to good effect on more than just exhaust leaks over the years that I've had it. It's been really, really handy. Now then, inside the box, you get power cable, so that goes off your battery, and that plugs in the back of the machine. A little bottle which you fill with, I use baby oil to be fair. I'm sure you can get the right stuff, but I use baby oil. And you've got the lead that comes at the back of the smoke machine, and then you've got an array of different plugs. So you can put the large one that we're going to use into an exhaust. You've got a small one that you can fill up an inlet manifold with, and there is a myriad of different bungs if you're testing something that's got holes in it and you want to plug up some holes. So yes, we today are going to be getting it all set up and using the one that goes up the exhaust. Right, the machine's been powered up for a minute or so, so we've got to wait till it gets warm and then flick the switch on, and then in theory, there you go, smoke. Fantastic. The longer it's on, the more smoke it will produce. It smells quite pleasant. It smells a little bit like burnt baby oil. My favourite. Now then, that can go up there, and that will pressurise the exhaust. It's not massive pressure, very small amounts of pressure, but enough for that smoke to fill up all of the exhaust up through the exhaust manifold. And in theory, one of those 4 exhaust valves will be open, so you're going to fill up the combustion chamber with oil, well, with smoke vapor as well. And if you had a really Larry cam with lots and lots of overlap and you had an inlet and an exhaust open at the same time, in theory you would fill the combustion chamber and you could fill back the inlet manifold, and you could test that at the same time. But we don't have a Larry cam because our car is standard and boring. Right, give that a couple of seconds to get full of smoke and then we'll test for leaks. It has not taken long to expose my poor work. That is absolutely thundering out. At the back, it's very hard to see because of sheer amount of smoke. At the back, the joints look pretty good. You also got the mid pipe onto the back box just there. That looks good. However, what does not look good is, Christ, just in there. Now I'm wondering if I can blow that away with an airline so we can actually see what we're doing. And there we go. We've got a huge leak where the Y pipe goes on to the mid pipe, and we've got an equally large leak where the exhaust manifold joins the Y pipe. So yeah, let's go have a look in the engine bay. Onto the cylinder head. All looks pretty good, which is quite a common leak point on these, especially with the varying size sometimes between exhaust manifold and inlet manifold. But this one looks good. However, in the darker depths of the engine bay, it's not good. So there we have it. That has managed to successfully expose all of my poor work and prove that if I would have ran the car as it would have leaked a lot. So that can be taken back apart, and I'll put a little bit of exhaust paste on them. In my defence, if I could get away with putting it together dry and not leaking, I would have been happy with that. I wouldn't have wanted to cover it in exhaust paste if there was no need to, because it would make it harder to take apart. Also, on a side note, before I remove the exhaust today, I'm going to mark the Y pipe and I'm going to weld on an 18mm metric boss for a lambda wideband air fuel ratio probe, so that when I run the car back up with the new HIF 38 carb, I can set my air fuel ratios and dial the carb in a little bit better, and then the car can go back on the road. And then after that, the car can go to one side and I can continue for the summer, unfortunately, carrying on building the garages. And once that's done, all systems go, and then we can start tuning the Mini and then take it on to the next level. And that should be an exciting prospect. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.